Climate change is a global issue, and it's only if people come together that we're going to have an answer to the global climate crisis. There were two events simultaneous today. So we had the event here in British Council in London. We had about 70 students in the end from about 15 different schools across the UK. Some from London, some from the north of England. We also had a separate event in Belfast in Northern Ireland with about 100 students there as well. They all took part in a mock UN climate negotiation. They were broken up into teams and they all took the role of representing a different country or region in the world, and they had to negotiate to try and keep global temperatures down to below 2%.
Remember who you are, which region of the world do you belong to, do you represent today? Begin to think about some of the implications for how you approach climate change.
Me and my classmates were representing the United Kingdom, which I was quite happy about actually, because I knew a bit more about it, I was a bit more connected with it.
For this, I represented the climate activists, where I was basically trying to convince all the countries to be pro helping the environment.
I was a fossil fuel lobbyist. I essentially had the opposite role to Hayden, of trying to convince companies to increase their annual spending into fossil fuels.
I think it's really, really important that young people take a hold of any opportunity they can to get their voice heard. No one really wants to listen to us, so when we are given that opportunity, finally someone's asking us, I think we really have to take it.
I remember seeing a 14-year-old Greta Thunberg give a speech in front of these big world leaders, and she was given that platform, and that was kind of the moment where I decided this is the kind of thing I want to do.
It's empowering to be involved with it and to see that progress can be made and that the youth, this is what people want, this is something that has support.
Across the world, young people are asking for more education in relation to climate change and sustainability. They want to learn more about climate change, but they want to be able to take action. It is incredibly important for young people to have opportunities to be actively involved in negotiations around climate change.
What we have in climate change is a real challenge for the way in which we have designed our international system.
So that's a complex, difficult challenge that governments are engaged in, and so it's really important that young people get to see how those kind of negotiations work.
We know that climate change is going to affect the next generation the most, so young people at the real heart of the climate crisis. For the British Council, we're all about bringing people together to talk about big global issues, helping them have the interactions and develop the skills they'll need to come up with climate solutions, and climate action is so important.
I've definitely been able to help my communication skills and understanding other people's point of views. The biggest skill that I've taken away from this is my own self-confidence, and it showed me that I can definitely do a lot as a young person.
Negotiations, they are hard, but there's definitely a role that young people have to play in them. There is a future for us to be climate negotiators. Overall, this was an amazing experience.
The world is so interconnected these days. It's a much smaller place than it used to be, and making sure that there's understanding, cooperation and shared skills between people from different countries is so important.